In Dynasty Warriors, one of the most important things early game is being able to kill generals as quickly as possible. In a lot of situations, you're facing off against massive hordes of enemies as well as multiple generals, and having the ability to take them down quickly is super important. With that in mind, I have a pretty solid starter build that's going to give you guys the best opportunity to just straight up destroy every general in the game. I'm going to show you how to get OP pretty early in Dynasty Warriors Origins so you can dominate and just destroy everything in your path. Let's begin. Before we dive in, just very quick note that in order to get all the things required for this build to get very powerful, you need to have completed Chapter 1. According to the story selection menu, this is about 12% through the story, so this is actually relatively early in the game, so you're capable of getting most of these parts well before you actively start pushing into the mid and end point of the game. But yeah, it's really important that you have completed Chapter 1 because you're not able to get some of the items that are actually pretty damn powerful. So first things first, let's go over the individual parts of the build that's super important. We have 4 different arts that we're using: Whirlwind Kick, Mad Blade Rush, Ascending Slash, and Falcon Fury. Now, Ascending Slash as well as Falcon Flurry is 2 skills that you're going to get from just leveling the sword. All you need to do is continuously get your proficiency up. About the time you reach about 5, you're capable of using all of the skills that you need for this build. The rest are going to just be found in the open world. We're going to be using Falcon Flurry to single out single target enemies. This is going to be your primary skill that you use whenever you're facing off against generals, since it does really high damage. It doesn't necessarily have the greatest AoE, but if you do have 2 generals that you're dealing with, you're capable of cleaving them down and dealing quite significant damage. For your other single target, you're going to be Ascending Slash. This is also another great skill that's going to help you with single target. The purpose of this skill is 2 things. First, you're going to use this skill to displace enemies and stagger them, and the other way is to just give yourself some distance just in case you need it. But again, these 2 skills are going to be something that you get from just simply leveling the sword. When it comes to the Mad Blade Rush, this is going to be your primary AoE skill with the sword. You do have decent AoE with the sword, but you do need a little bit more, and this is where this skill comes in handy. Lucky for you, is actually pretty easy to get to. You're essentially trying to get to Wu Providence. This is right across the Yellow River. You're just trying to get to Yan Castle, or I believe it's called Wan Castle. This is the location you need to get to, as on the left side here, right before you go into battle, or you just come over here, there will be a fisherman that will give you this skill. All you need to do is talk to him there and pick it up, and he's going to give you the skill, and make sure you equipped it. This is again a very good AoE tool that's going to help you just clear mobs pretty efficiently. For your Whirlwind Kick, this is actually a skill that you acquire really early. It only costs 20 skill points, and this is going to give you some good mobility as well as invulnerability frame, so that you can maybe dodge attacks and just help you gap close pretty well. Sometimes generals retreat, and this is a great way to set yourself up. So this one you can pick up really early with only 20 skill points, super easy. While we're talking about the skill points, one super important skill that you need to look at is Perfect Evade. This is going to require you to be adept ranked, but the great thing about this skill is whenever you evade, you're going to pretty much get some bravery, and this is going to help you sustain your skills, because you do eventually end up spamming a lot of skills, and they actually help you to just dominate the opponents relatively easily. You're probably going to have enough points around Chapter 1, a little bit after it. You just got to make sure you're actively leveling and, pick up the skill, because it's super good. For your major accessory, you're going to be using the Divine Bird's Wing. This boosts your HP by a whopping 20%, and this is going to be your only major defensive equipment on your gear, because this is going to be super important. Just make it easier for you to stay alive. A lot of times you're actively in the fray, and having a little bit of defensiveness is really important. This one's actually pretty easy to get. All you need to do is just get to Pyang and actively just quest in the area. You'll eventually get a letter where a man from Pyang, will just send you it, and you can just pick it up from your letter. So make sure you're actively checking your letters, because it could be in there right now. Next, you need to get yourself a gem. You're typically aiming to use a Scorch gem. What this does is just makes it so whenever you parry, you get more damage. And if you look at whenever I parry an enemy, you'll notice that a good portion of their health just get chunked when we do our counter attack. And that's because we have the Scorch gem, and it really gives you a pretty sizable boost, and this is going to be really great for dueling. Keep in mind, I do have a video on the channel that goes over how to properly farm gems super efficiently. There's a route in G province that gives you really good Pyrozine, and there's a route you definitely should be taking, because you could farm pretty much a ton of gems in a handful of minutes. But you see on screen now, I already have the route going, so you can just copy that route. But the video does go over a little bit of the technique in order for you to really maximize. Finally, it's time to get your weapon, and this is arguably one of the more important parts of the build. It's the general sword. This has really good damage against officers, really good general damage, and this is going to be a sword that's super powerful just to give you a ton of versatility as you're facing off against enemies, as you're going to attack and get bonuses for both heavy, normal attacks, and just facing off against those elite officer enemies. Fortunately, the general sword is actually pretty easy to get. All you need to do is get to Mount Bailang, and this is why you need it to complete chapter 1. This place doesn't open up until then. You need to get to Baiping. This is one of the cities there, and within that city there will be a merchant that sells it for 10,000 yen. Now you can always just sell old pieces of gear if you need to be able to afford this, so you can do that, or you can just make sure you're doing your side quests as well as just helping the Providence. This will give you a ton of resources super easy. But overall, you need to pick up the general sword, as this sword has a pretty sizable 80 attack as well as just overall good damage overall. It's a grade 3 weapon, so super accessible and super easy, and definitely something you need to get. With that said, that's pretty much all you need to get OP early. I'm going to have a video kind of playing, just showing you how it works in action and how well you can face up against opponents. If this video helped you out, don't forget to leave me a like as well as subscribe to the channel for more Dynasty Warrior and variety content. And just like that, Warriors, I'll see you in the next one very soon.
Can't believe the enemy officer has been defeated.
I'm pulling back for now.
Let's go.
I'll make you regret that decision.
Take this! Bear with me for my power. Coming at you. See you. An opening. The enemy officer has been defeated. An opening. Looking rough. Coming at you. Looking rough. Prepare for pain. Stay close and protect us. All my might. Time to act. Take this! Bear with me! Looking rough. All my might! Good eye! The enemy
Damn it!
has been defeated.
I won't forget this.
Let's go! Time to attack. Take this. Now. Obliterate you. All my might. Beautiful situation. The enemy officer has been defeated.